they put their ball hockey today a little bit.
Yeah. I need to go see why. I love that when our defense is doing that. Sometimes I think we may have made it a little bit too easy on them. Really need to put the tape in to go see exactly why. But our defense did a great job last year, getting a lot of turnovers, and somehow that needs to continue.
Was that pick by Constantine against Jeff? Was that one of the very few that he's thrown this spring?
Jeff, I don't know what the total is. We kind of keep track of all that, but like I said, Jeff's done a nice job. Jeff has taken a step forward. He really has, and he's been making better decisions, and I think he's throwing it more accurately, and so he's progressed.
Considering that it is a three-man quarterback competition, did you see the improvement as a group throughout these 15 practices that you were hoping for?
Yeah, I think you can. You see flashes in all of them. Well, obviously, you need a lot more than flashes. But, Jake just got here. And so, every practice is huge. And you can see him do some really, really good things, just instinctual. And when he gets more dialed into the whole thing, he's going to take a huge step. I think KJ, KJ got a little bit of fall camp, for the most part in terms of reps. And then you're a scout team guy for the year. And so for him, he's really brand new to us too in terms of really operating the offense. And so he's really growing as well. And then I always say the older guys, usually hard for those guys to really, because they've had quite a few reps. He's been around here for a while, but hats off to Jeff for taking a step for sure.
When you look at what he's done this spring, what is it you see that maybe wasn't there last spring or last fall even?
I think he's better with the ball, in a couple of different ways. Maybe not turn over as much, but I think his accuracy has improved. Decision making has improved. I think both those things are, good to see. I think everybody would love, wants to have a returning starting quarterback, pecking order set. I don't think we're any different than that, but that's not even kind of how it is. And so, people keep asking. We'll figure this out as we go.
Do you feel better in general about where you are at the position than you were even just a month ago?
I think we feel better than we were a month ago because we definitely put a lot of stuff on them. We really did. We put the bulk of the stuff in without question. Obviously they can game plan and some of those things, and so you just, when you got three guys and, we can never get the quarterbacks enough reps. They see it, but how many times they actually get to rep that, and that's the problem with not having a returning guy and those type of things. It's seeing a lot of things, but it's a good group.
How beneficial is it for a guy like Jake, who by all rights would be in high school right now, to actually be here for spring ball and going through this, and maybe going through the lumps with learning?
Yeah, I don't see how a guy can even kind of compete, really coming in the fall, at that position. I know it's happened, but I still. That's a really hard thing. It's hard in spring, but the beauty of it is now he gets to digest it. All these guys do and watch all the tape from now until we start actually work it out there, and they know what's going on. And then you have 20-some practices as well in the fall, so you get it again. So it's really, really huge that he's here now.
If you were to make a list of one or two things that are the highest priority of improving and nailing down between now and the first game of the fall, what would the top couple of things be?
Decision and accuracy. Never changes.
About the rest of the team, the whole team.
Oh, we don't have enough time here. Yeah.
A couple of things that really.
It's just we got to get assignment sound at least. And so you see a brand new guy in there and doesn't do his assignment, and it's a 5-yard loss, but everybody else is on the same page. But we got to get all 11 guys at least assignment sound. When you play a game, you like it to be assignment perfect. They can know their assignments. They might not get it all executed, but you can know what it is. So that's probably the biggest thing. And I think our coaches do a nice job of the fundamental aspect. We spend a lot of time. Some teams just run a lot of plays all practice long, and we don't do that. We run plays, but we spend half the practice on just trying to grind these fundamentals into them.
Can you maybe give us some guys that just really jumped out at camp? Darren Gardenhire's a guy that just really seems to, he was everywhere.
Yeah, I think that, I don't really like to do that because I think a lot of guys, especially with the youth, but I think, I'll give you one guy. I think Sean Constantine's done a nice job on defense. I think he's gotten a lot better than where he was, and he's a fun guy to be around because even when he's not in, and this is how it was last year, he's just a great team guy. But he's actually gotten his game better as a linebacker.
And health-wise, it just seems, looks like you got guys just digging up, maybe ready to play if you had a game. But
Yeah, and so that's kind of, when you lose a lot of old guys, your roster's thin anyways. And then it doesn't matter if we stayed in helmets the whole time or didn't even put helmets on. The way you run around, the way you practice, guys pull, guys go down, all those type of things. And, maybe next year we'll have more depth. We don't lose a ton of guys next year. And so if we have more numbers and bodies, I think the last year, everybody would love to divide up and have teams and have a little game and those type of things. But, we barely have two lines, going out there in terms of the offensive line and those things. And so it's just kind of across the board. But the depth is coming. We'll have close to 30 new guys in the fall. We'll get ingrained in this deal and we'll build that depth.
everybody's asking about John Ross. Is he okay?
Yeah. John Ross is not okay right now, or he'd be out there practicing. So that's all I got for you right now.
You expect him to be ready for fall camp?
Don't know. Get back to you when the doctors look at him again. I'm still looking at him.
Is there a legit concern that he might not play next year, or is that?
I'll answer all this stuff when the doctors give us the final. Yeah.
Question, with the offensive line, when you watched the tape over the course of spring, how was not having Dexter and Coleman, how did that impact the effectiveness of the group?
Well, it's always hard when you have two guys that definitely know what's going on. We talk about those assignment things, so that's hard. The good news is a bunch of those young guys got, I don't know how many more reps without having those guys in there. So, when you have a guy that's, both guys have started, numerous games, that has an effect, but we got to build depth.
Are you envisioning the quarterback thing going all the way to the fourth week, the last week of fall camp? And is there any part of you at all that could envision a real two-quarterback system in September?
I don't know, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll just keep evaluating day to day, and when we figure it out, it's, we're a long way from any of that.
Chris, where do things stand with Silent Miles as you head into the summer?
What's that?
Where do things stand with Silent Miles as you head into the summer?
It's still status quo, We talk to Silent now and again, and like I said from the start, you gotta go with who's here, and you make your plans accordingly, and we'll figure that one out, down the road as well.
Has he expressed any interest in playing football?
I think the conversations and what Siler's going through is between us, I think that's the important thing there.
There was a report last week, I think ESPN said a Utah State quarterback has been trying to transfer here. Are you open to, in general, quarterback transferring in here at this point, or have you ruled that out?
First of all, I'd never comment on any of that stuff, but I will tell you it's completely false. I've heard nothing of that myself. That's the thing, that's the problem with half the stuff. You hear these things, you think completely true, they're not. But we're always looking at our roster, all the time. So that's all we do as a group. So.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.